who could forget such characters as Chief O'Hara, Aunt Harriet, Commissioner Gordon, Mr. Freeze, the Penguin, the Joker, Egghead, the list goes on and on. The co-star of the TV show Batman, Boy Wonder, Robin. Here's Burt Ward on the late afternoon show. There he is right here.
Hello, citizens.
There he is.
Wowie zowie.
Burt, hey, Boy Wonder.
Golly gee williker, citizen. I'm honored.
Hey, did you hear that intro, huh?
Fantastic.
Yeah, Burt Ward, ladies and gentlemen. He's just written a tell-all book called Boy Wonder, My Life in Tights.
Holy introductions, Batman.
Yeah, holy expose.
Hey, why did it take you so long to finally write this book? Why after all these years?
Because the story wasn't complete.
Oh.
And the reason, listen, I was a 20-year-old kid, naive kid. I came into Batman. I met Adam West, and immediately he introduced me to the wildest sexual debauchery you can imagine. And it wasn't, and not just during the series, but I'm talking about 20-some-odd years on the road that he and I traveled together making appearances. We had some of the wildest and craziest times. And then finally, I found the balance, what I call holy maturity, got married in 1990, and finally now the story is complete where I can tell it from a perspective that is a complete, total story.
How old are you now?
Let's see, 49 and holding.
Okay.
Holding on to everything.
So you were like 44 when you got married. And how old were you when you were on the shows?
I was 20 when I signed the contract, and I turned 21 when we started filming.
Wow. So then you had like 20 years of just promiscuous sex.
Well, yes. What can I say? Adam and I were like two hungry sharks in a world of unlimited halibut.
And you were 20 years old, 21, and you didn't quite know everything there was to know about sex? Adam had to teach you like certain ways to get to certain...
Oh, no, not certain ways, not that. But I mean, I was a naive kid. You have to understand, when I came into Batman, I was married. I had just married a girl, and I remember that I had a scene to do with a young actress that I was supposed to kiss on the cheek. And I felt that kissing her on the cheek was like in violation of my marriage, and I almost got fired because I wouldn't kiss the girl on the cheek. And here Adam was giving me graphic descriptions of how all the famous Hollywood ladies had animal designs carved into their pubic hairs. I mean, such an inconsistency, you know? I mean, I was a naive kid. And you know, I watched this stuff, and I saw Adam, and I just saw this, and I said, my God, is this really Hollywood? Do they really do things like this? And, you know, it was the 60s when love was free, and everybody loved each other and made love to each other.
Yeah.
You know, it was the flower children era.
Yes.
And it was a very open time. And, you know, honestly, I hate to say it, we became like sexual vampires.
Yes.
Thousands of young women were inseminated with bat sperm, our ultimate autograph.
And what kind of diseases went around with all of this?
I guess there weren't any back then, huh?
Really?
Well, I'm sorry, what now?
Diseases. I mean...
It wasn't a concern?
No, it wasn't a concern, you know, and I hate to say it, but look at today's world. It's so frightening about the only safe sex you can have is a good book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yours would do.
Yeah, especially with the chapters like, what's the one here? Holy impotence, my testicles grew to the size of grapefruits.
That's right. Well, that follows a chapter where, you know, where I say a raving nymph meets the Boy Wonder, and the Boy Wonder meets his Waterloo.
And the first meets is spelled M-E-A-T-S.
Right. And let me tell you something. She nearly killed me, this lady.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 30 times a day. I got to be where I felt like I was becoming dust.
Wait, 30 times a day?
Yeah, it nearly killed me.
Oh,
I mean, I really met my Waterloo. That's one of the reasons why I started to cool it after that.
You really are Boy Wonder if you did it 30 times a day.
Nothing left of the Boy Wonder. I'm telling you, I was turning to dust.
Yeah, and were they all women?
Of course.
Okay.
Now, I don't know about Adam, though.
Yeah, because one of the...
He has a story that he told me, and he put in a book, and then he got involved with a hermaphrodite. I don't even know what that is, except I believe in the dictionary defines it as a biological combination of a he-she.
Oh,
Skeevy.
Yeah,
A
so skeevy.
You know, I found that a little strange, you know.
Yeah.
For me, I was just a conventional guy, you know.
Yeah, there is something in here about, in one of your chapters, isn't it, one of your chapters is mentioning something gay or something?
Well, there's a question, there's always been the question, are Batman and Robin gay?
Mhm.
And I deal with the fact that during the series, and even before our series, in the 50s, there was psychiatrists and psychologists that thought that Batman and Robin, the comic book, represented a wish dream of two homosexuals.
Right.
And then, of course, during the show, people would ask me, well, you know, hey, Burt, what about the strange and unnatural relationship of Batman and Robin? And I'd say, hey, wait a minute, what's so strange and unnatural about two guys that run around wearing tights and live together?
Yeah.
You know?
Do you, to this day, do you get along with Adam West?
We have always been best friends. However, since this book has come out, I'll be very honest with you, I have been checking with hospitals and rest homes to see if he's checked in.
Oh, no. Well,
Major heart attack time.
yeah, well, why, I mean, he didn't want this information to come out? I mean, it's been 30 years, a big deal.
Well, let me just say this. If I were married to the same lady for 20-some-odd years while all this was going on, I don't think I'd be saying it was true either.
Oh, so I see, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Holy damage control.
Right, I gotcha.
Holy Fifth Amendment.
Hey, did you make up all those funny holy things, or?
I made up some of them, but I gotta come back, and I gotta tell you, okay, there is going to be hitting the presses next week an explosive situation here that I'm going to give you a first. I'm going to give you first on. Adam has been denying so much that this book is true that
Yeah.
I've decided to let the American public decide for themselves if it's true or not. And as of next week, we're going to be placing ads around America inviting all the women that slept with Adam or I to write in and tell us their story. And on national television, I'm going to bring out a wheelbarrow full of letters.
Well,
And let that senior bat try to deny that.
yeah, I guess that's a good way to get back at him, actually.
Well, I don't want to try to get back at him. I just want people to know that this is 100% truth. And as a matter of fact, there is going to be a sequel to the book, Boy Wonder 2, The Adventure Continues, which some of these letters are going to be excerpted for the book.
Now, why did you, not consider his feelings on this?
I did consider his feelings. And as a matter of fact, if you get a chance to read the book, you'll see at the very end, I tried in every single way to avoid the inevitable of the disturbing tie-in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But the fact is that I couldn't leave Adam out of the book. He was right there when so much of it happened. And when I say right there, I'm talking like cheek to cheek.
But I would imagine that you would have known if he would oppose to this, and so it was like kiss your friendship goodbye.
Well, yes and no. You know, he got in touch with my agent through his agent, and he said he had 4 complaints about my book. Really. Now he's been denying that he ever read it, but it's not true because his agent came up and bought the books from me. Actually bought them at an appearance that I had, and I signed one personalized to Adam with a very nice intro. And he then had his agent call my agent and said the 4 things that bothered him was one anecdote called "The Big Dipper is a small tipper," because he doesn't want the world to know he's a cheapskate.
Well, you know what? Now you ruined my only last true hero. My last one just
No,
died.
he is a hero.
Yeah,
Let me tell
I
you
don't think
something.
you ruined it at all.
Look, I gotta tell you something. I love Adam. I love the man.
So do I.
had the greatest times of my life with him. But nobody is perfect, you know? And so he's got a few faults.
You know, we talked to Adam West back in January, and he's very happy to be known as Batman. I would think that he would have no problem with this information.
Well,
No, let me tell you something. Actually, he is Mr. Macho, and the portions that talk about his escapades in that sense, he doesn't, he has no problem with that because that just makes him look good. The areas that he had the problem besides the tipping was that he didn't like the fact that I exposed his upstaging of me during the show, but that's impossible to hide because all you do is look at 120 episodes. You'll see it in every one where he either stood in front of me, he jumped into my lines, or he spoke so slowly that snails could make love between his words.
We're talking to Boy Wonder, Robin, Burt Ward from the original Batman TV shows.
Burt, did you and Adam ever have sex with the same woman
Like
at
a
the same
fort, like a
time?
threesome?
No, we never liked messy seconds.
how about sharing?
And all I will say, but you know, it's funny that you should say that, because when Batgirl came on, Yvonne Craig, she came on our show the 3rd season. I'll never forget, she came out on set in that tight lycra spandex outfit that we needed bath towels to wipe up the drool from all those crew members. And that's when Adam came over to me and he confided in that deep voice of his, he says, Burt, he says, let's make a bat sandwich. And I said, what, Adam? He says, girls love it. Simultaneous penetration. Oh, Adam, oh, that's so sick, I said. And then we got together in this Siamese human knot with Batgirl for the filming, where our bodies were intertwined very closely together, legs and everything else touching each other. And all of a sudden, just before filming, I felt this unexpected groping. And I said to myself, oh, no, not Yvonne Craig. She's not that wild, too. And it turned out, no, it wasn't her. It was that Adam West getting fresh, and that's when I nicknamed him the Groper.
That's great. Great.
Did you guys ever make a bat sandwich?
No. I'm too conservative of a guy.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Burt, we have somebody online here. Frank wants to talk to you. Frank, go ahead. You're on with Boy Wonder.
Oh, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a first-time caller, and I love your show, Bruce. I think you do a great job, and it's thrilled to see Burt Ward on the show.
Yeah, he's right here.
Hey, I have a question for you, Burt. Can you tell me any sex stories about Chief O'Hara or Commissioner Gordon?
No, can I say something? I don't know that anything happened, although I did wonder what happened with Alfred, our butler, and dear old Aunt Harriet.
Yeah.
They seem to get together a little bit here and there, but
Oh,
there
really?
really weren't, because, let me tell you something, those were all top professional actors. They came in, they would only work like 1 day a week to do their scenes, and there wasn't the exposure. And the same with the villains. You know, people say, well, Burt, how about all the villains? And I said, to be honest with you, these were all stars that came in for 4 or 5 days. They did their filming and they were gone. Where we got involved were the wild women that were the guest villains' girlfriends. And that's some of the girls that came after me with knives and with axes, and I mean, really some dangerous stuff.
Hey, Julie Newmar, I know, was the favorite Catwoman of Adam West. Can you tell me any Julie Newmar stories?
Yeah, I have an anecdote in my book that's called "A Felonious Feline Shows Her Fur Coat."
Oh, man.
Yeah, you guys just could imagine it. I can see that you guys are pretty wild. You instantly catch on to these things.
Yeah, thank you, Boy Wonder. Hey, tell me the story about you and Batman being banned from a town in Springboro, Ohio.
Oh, yeah, let me tell you something. We always got into trouble, but in some places we got into deeper trouble.
Yeah, tell us.
And I showed up at an elementary school that I was making. The appearance actually was at a local a car show, but in the mornings we would, during the daytime, we would go into elementary schools and do bicycle safety talks.
Right.
And Adam and I were supposed to show up at this bicycle safety talk, and we had a police escort that would drive us around and, you know, all that kind of stuff with the sirens and stuff. And, you know, it was kind of a show thing for kids and stuff. We'd come up to their school and with sirens blazing. In any event, Adam didn't show up one day, and I noticed that our police escort, the two gentlemen, the officers, were laughing and giggling, and I said, you know, is something going on? And they said, where's your buddy Adam? I said, well, gee, I don't know. He was supposed to show up here. They said, yeah, well, he's not going to show up today. And I said, well, do you know something that I don't know? And they said, yes, we got a drunk and disorderly report that Adam West, at 4:30 in the morning, had tried to pick up the ugliest barmaid in the city and had been turned down. And I said, oh, my God. And then, you know, and I was worried. I didn't know if he'd been arrested. I don't think he was arrested. I think they just took him back to his hotel room, you know, and so he could sober up. But then, you know, and people say, well, now that's a terrible thing to say about your partner. But let me tell you something. 2 days later, I got myself in much worse of a problem.
In the same town.
In the same town, I met this beautiful young lady who was working at the hotel that I was staying at, and she came to my room, and we started to make love, and she told me that she was married. And I said, well, you know, look, there's too many fish in the sea, and I don't want to be involved with somebody that's married, because I wouldn't want that happening to me. And so she left, and I said to myself, oh, boy, Burt, I can't believe you had such energy here to be able to turn this down. You did the right thing, you know. But I'll tell you, I was upset when I made that decision. Anyway, I went to sleep, and 15 minutes later, the door is knocking, and it's pounding, actually. And I open the door, and I see the body of this giant man. I mean, this could have been Paul Bunyan. And I couldn't even see the head. This guy was so tall. And I closed the door thinking, uh-oh. And the guy started, pounding on the door, accusing me of porking his wife. Well, let me tell you, I called my dear buddy Adam on the phone. He was 2 doors down. I said, Adam, this is terrible. There was a girl that came to my room. I didn't get involved with her because she was married, and now her husband, who is a giant, is pounding my door, trying to break it in because he thinks I violated his wife. He says, don't worry, Burt. He says, I'll take care of this. I'm on your side. And that's when I knew Adam's military training was about to kick in. So he runs to the door. He looks out. He comes back and picks up the phone and says, gosh, Burt, that guy really is big. I'm afraid you're on your own.
So then what happened?
Then I dove. I mean, this guy's breaking the door down. And here I am in my underwear. And I realized, look, this is a no-win situation. You don't ever want to get into a fight with somebody who's got nothing to lose. So I dove out through the window in the mud, running with my underwear on through the mud up to the front desk, yelling, hey, there's a guy trying to kill me. This kid throws me his keys, the reception guy, and I get in a car, I'm driving. I said, oh, my God. And finally, a police officer stops me, and, because I wave him down, and he sees that I'm not wearing hardly anything, and immediately takes me to his station. He can't believe that a celebrity is in their town who is covered with mud, wearing underwear, claiming that he's Robin, and that somebody's trying to kill him. And I go into the station, I'm in there, and some of the female officers asked me if I was a Chippendale dancer. I said no. And finally, we were able to find our police escort, who were the ones that were traveling around with us, and they came and got me, took me back to my room with their guns drawn because they found out this guy had gone and gotten a shotgun and now had returned, was going to try to kill me. And I finally got my stuff, and they nicely asked me, they said, Burt, you and Adam are a lot of fun, but please, do us all a favor. Please don't come back here.
Stay the hell out. All right, well, is that story in the book by any chance?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay.
Among, literally dozens of other wild and crazy things that happened on Batman.
Hey, Burt, did you ever use the Batmobile to pick up chicks?
No, they wouldn't let me drive it. I mean, I wanted to go out on dates with it, and these people, just because it's a $120,000 car back then, which is probably like a $1 million car now, but they said, no, we're not going to let you drive this thing around, I mean, what are you going to do, crack it up? You're going to have everybody trying to go for a ride? No way.
Yeah, were there any other Bat sex toys that you had?
How about hundreds?
Hundreds?
Did you have the Bat Baiter?
All of this is detailed in the book. I mean, with chapters like "On Your Knees, Girls, and Stay in Line," which is a direct quote from Adam, and "Watch out for the big Polynesian mama who looks like she got hit in the face with a plank."
Yeah.
To 8 is enough, which is the Hugh Grant affair times 8.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we're talking.
That's the Octopussy thing. That's the Octopussy thing we read.
That's right. Now remember, this book is only for people that are age 18 or over.
Right.
Now, I forgot to ask, are you guys 18?
Stretch?
Oh, okay.
I'm 19, so I work.
All right, well, I was worried, but I've got a full-page warning right in the front of the book that no one under the age of 18 should read this book, and no one who is sexually conservative or erotically deprived should even turn the pages.
Well, you shouldn't talk to us.
Yeah, that means everyone's going to go out and buy this thing. Listen, did you ever, in your tights there, while you were on the set, did you ever get, excited? Did you ever get an erection in those tights?
Are you kidding? Yes. In fact, there is another anecdote in the book about how there were the Londinium Larceny show. There was 4 girls, and these girls were holding me, you see, for the shot, and they were taunting me before the shot, and I tell you, I was really freaking out because we had a lot of guests from the network there that day. I mean, it was a really embarrassing scene.
And I would imagine that everybody could see it because of the tights and everything.
Well, I didn't want anybody to see it, and just before the shot, I went back in my room and got the big glass of water so I could take a dunk.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, man.
Now, Burt, was that really you in the tights, or was there a little help there?
Oh, no, that's me, 100%.
You like sex, don't you?
Well, listen, I don't drink, smoke, or take drugs, so I guess all of my vices are in one area.
Do you still have sex today like crazy, or are things calmed down?
Well, let me just tell you, I am very happily married to a girl who is a Wonder Woman. whose nickname is Wonder Woman, who wore Wonder Woman outfits to her job, that she, and she was a very successful young lady. She and her father owned some 4,000 companies with annual sales of $26 billion.
Wow, you married into money. Good for you.
Well, I didn't do that for that reason. She actually came out to, she had heard about my company, and her father didn't like the idea that she was doing charitable work for kids in her spare time, wanted her only work on company business, sent her out with $11 million to buy my company because I was doing things, videos for kids, teaching them values and stuff like that.
You were doing videos teaching children values.
That's right. Because let me tell you something. The difference between me and, for example, these Batman movies that are out is that they let kids into those movies. I've written a book that is just for adults, and my book is only given and shown and sold to adults. But I also still do a lot of appearances as Robin. And when I do the appearances, I don't say anything about my book to these kids. I am only their superhero. So I keep the two different personalities separate.
You're my
You're
hero.
a superhero, too.
You're really my hero now.
I wish I was in
I
TV.
mean, Batman had a lot of double meaning in that show, and there was something in that show for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, have you been offered to be in the Batman movies, the current one?
No, they don't want Adam or I because we did shows that were humorous and family-oriented. They want shows that are very, their Batman is very heavy. It's very kind of, very violent and certainly not family-oriented.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've been asked this question about Chris O'Donnell with him being the first Robin in the movie Batman Forever. Did you see that? Or
Yeah, I did. I saw it, and I think Chris O'Donnell is a great actor. I think Val Kilmer's. I think the acting is superb.
Yeah.
I even think that the movie was very well done.
Yeah.
It had a lot of glitz, not a lot of substance, but a lot of glitz. The only thing that I found offensive was the fact that the director had an earring in Dick Grayson's ear, a butch haircut that he made Jim Carrey swish. I mean, I found that was the director's spin with the nipples on the outfits. They weren't even costumes. They were like suits of armor. I found that, to me, tasteless.
why? I mean, that adds just a little extra to it, a little maybe more, current type of.
No, can I tell you something? I believe, and I have nothing against people that are gay, and I even have some friends that are gay. But I'm telling you, that is not the image of Batman and Robin. They weren't gay. They were straight. They were superheroes. And if you take this, what they've done, and let children see this,
Wait a second.
see that kids are picking up on that, I think that's a very bad image.
So
for
you're
kids.
saying big nipples and earring in your ear means gay?
I'm saying the butch haircut, the
It was just a crew cut like the military, though.
Oh, no, not at least not what I saw.
On Chris O'Donnell?
And it was very much kind of like Melrose Place. I found it to be that way to me. I found that
They're not gay.
Hey, wait, what's Melrose Place, though?
There's one gay guy at Melrose Place.
They're like you. They're sleeping around with everyone in the complex.
Hey, listen, to each his own, the woman said as she kissed her cow. I mean, it's just that for me, I found that I didn't think that Jim Carrey as the Riddler needed to swish.
Swish?
Oh, you're saying Jim Carrey was gay and not Chris O'Donnell.
I don't think any of them are gay. I think that the director
character reviews.
is a raving, whatever, and I think that he tried to put his spin to make this the way he envisioned the characters he'd like them to be, as opposed to what I've always believed them to be, which is that men were men and girls were girls.
You think there were homoerotic overtones?
Yeah, I think it was tasteless.
I don't think anyone's ever thought that I've.
Listen, I'm doing 5 interviews a day, and I got to tell you, that is one of the subjects when that movie comes up that they throw at me all the time. What do you think about the nipples on the costume? What do you think about the strange, the earring and all that kind of stuff? I mean, all I can tell you was that I'm not saying an earring makes a man appear to be gay.
Yeah.
But the combination of elements together with the director's spin, for me, was not satisfying as a viewer.
We're talking to Burt Ward, who played Robin in the original Batman TV shows. We have another caller online. Elena has a question for you, Burt. Go ahead, Elena. You're on the air.
Hi, Bert. Did you say earlier that you had sex 30 times in 24 hours?
Yeah. That's what
It
he said.
nearly killed me, yeah.
I figured that out, and that's like having sex every 8 minutes.
I could never, ever think.
Well, it was
Isn't that
almost
physically
nonstop. I mean, we're not
impossible?
even talking about stopping. I mean, this is just really a nightmare. I mean, it was. Listen, I am not proud of that. I mean, I'm certainly not looking to try to achieve any Guinness Book of Records. I am just simply saying that I ran into a situation that I thought was going to be, like a lot of men fantasize about, the woman that wants to make love to them endlessly. And I found that to be a very dangerous situation. That's all I'm saying.
You must have good recovery time.
Yeah, I don't.
Apparently.
I was practically hospitalized. I mean, I'm nearly killed.
I don't understand that at all. I mean,
You don't understand how you can be screwed to death?
no, I don't. Even when I'm 18 years old, where guys are supposed to be at their peak, I don't.
You didn't reach the big O every time.
No.
Listen, I don't want to get into the graphic details.
I mean, obviously.
I'll leave that to the book, but all I can tell you was...
You were empty,
for me,
I would imagine.
It was a very, at first fun, becoming significantly more painful experience.
Well, he isn't Batman. He's just Robin.
Yeah, I'm just a boy
Imagine what
wonder.
Batman could do.
He's just holy Batman. Imagine what he could.
Tom is online, has a question for you. Tom, go ahead. You're on with Boy Wonder, and boy, I'm telling you, what a boy wonder he is.
Yeah, hey, I just want to say that I'm gay, and I got a question for you, Burt. My question is, with Vincent Price and Burgess Meredith and Cesar Romero coming in all the time, did they know about all this stuff going on? Were they part of it? What was going on here?
No, they weren't. But did he say that he was gay?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, I mean, I have gay friends, and I have nothing against gays at all. All I'm saying was that, I don't, I will say this. I really was involved with a lot of women, and I didn't watch what the other co-stars, or the guest villains were doing, but I suspect that they weren't doing very much because they were there very long hours. It wasn't like Adam or I, where we were in either every scene or we had to wait while some of their footage was shot, so there was a lot of in-between time for us. The guest stars that came in, I mean, they kept them working for the hours that they were there pretty hard, so I don't think they had any stuff fooling around, although I did hear some stuff, but that is totally speculation. I didn't see it, so...
I always thought, Burt, when you were, 21 when you first started, I was big into watching the shows, and I always thought you were gay.
Why?
Yeah, I do. Just your look and everything like that. I guess I just, you just had that look.
It's funny. I guess maybe I was brought up very conservatively, and I really didn't know very much when I came into Batman, and I for me it was such a shocker,
Yeah.
and it took a long time for me to finally realize that as much as I was naive, there's other people that are that much far out in whatever they want to do, and it took a while. It took 30 years for me to find the balance.
All right. It's the book is Boy Wonder, My Life in Tights. It's Boy Wonder, Robin, Burt Ward. Are you going around the country supporting this book? And
yeah, I'm doing a lot of touring and book signings and national television and radio and newspaper, and I'm really having a great time. And I must tell you, the people that have read the book, because now the book has actually been out about 2 weeks, the ones that have gotten back to me have told me that they really loved it, and that they were so happy that finally somebody wrote a book without candy coating it and telling it just like it really is.
Yeah, you know what? Earlier today, we were just opening to any page in the book and just reading a couple paragraphs, and it is great reading material.
Well, I want people to have fun. This book was written because I honestly believe that people would find the stuff so outrageous and so different than today's world that they would find it very intriguing. And I wanted to come out once in my life and at least tell it all just like it really happened and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, you ought to. Your next book should just be on how to satisfy a woman and stuff like that.
Hey, listen, I don't pretend to be an expert. All I pretend to be is the person that is trying to live the best life they can, and yet who is curious like most other people and said, okay, gee, I've got this opportunity, why not go for it?
You're Batman.
No, he's Robin.
I'm the Boy Wonder.
No, I would say for somebody who can do it 30 times a day, I think that you should write some book about how to...
Hey, it's funny that you should say that. I got to tell you, when I first met my father-in-law, and I'm married to my wife, Tracy, he misunderstood something. We went over there and we saw him, and my wife's stepsister has said something about, well, now that you have this baby together, how can you ever, have some time alone? alone. And we said, well, wait a minute. She's just a little girl, and she's just a couple of months old, and, she sleeps every 2 hours. Well, they misunderstood that to believe that we made love every 2 hours. And my father-in-law was going around telling everybody how, my daughter and my son-in-law make love every 2 hours. Isn't that sinful?
Yeah, did he really brag that, my son-in-law is Robin, the boy wonder?
No. You see, he is, without a doubt, the single most hated businessman in America. And he didn't like the idea that I married his daughter, or that anyone married his daughter, which is the heir to his empire. And he offered me $10 million to give her up.
Wow.
You married Michael Milken's daughter?
Forget Mike. It's funny that you should say Michael Milken, because both Michael Milken and Ivan Boesky went to prison because of involvements that was the third one in that was my father-in-law. That was the company that Fishback Corporation that ultimately was what sent them to prison, from what I understand, because of parking the stock. So it's a real thing. I mean, and it's not a joke, but I got to tell you, you know what my father-in-law first said to me when I first met him?
I give up.
It got to be the crudest thing. I mean, here I wanted to really come into the family and have a great father-in-law and be able to barbecue.
Guy loves to talk, doesn't he?
He's a loud talker.
I think he's come into enough families. What do you need to come into one more for?
He doesn't allow you to
Literally.
but one sentence in his presence. It's really very scary.
Yes, he
but he
said.
said to me, he says, I just want to ask you one question, fella. And I said, yes, Mr. Posner. He said, and I said, ooh, wow. I said, well, and I said, ooh, wow. I said, well, Mr. Posner, we all have to be good at something.
Yeah, okay. That was
And he actually laughed. One of the few times I've ever seen that man laugh. He says, I like that. Because everybody's so afraid of the guy, I mean, and I just stood up to him because I knew that my wife Tracy loved me, and I loved her.
Is he still alive, your father-in-law?
Oh, yeah.
But you own the company now, along with
No. Well, I own. My wife owns Logical Figments, which is the publishing company, and I mean, their family owns these 4,000 companies. I mean, it's one of the richest families in America.
Where do you live, Robin?
We have an estate outside of Los Angeles that we have our own production studio. We have full feature film animation, special effects, sound stage. We have horses and dogs, and we even have a helicopter landing pad. So we really have a super nice life.
How many bathrooms do you have?
Well, plenty. But we don't call them bathrooms. We call them batrooms.
Batrooms. All right, our final two questions
Burt,
now.
do you know what? I'm going out there in 2 more weeks. Can I spend a couple nights there?
You absolutely are welcome to. I'm very serious. We have a lovely guest house, and you're welcome to come.
Excellent.
Hey,
Great.
we don't want him taking part in any of those escapades from the old days.
Hey,
You watch him,
actually,
though.
I could. And I actually have 2 more questions.
Yeah.
Did you have sex before you became Robin? And if so, how many? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
and I only dated 2 girls before I became Robin, and where I had sex. Yes,
And
so
then-
I was pretty naive. I mean, today's world, and I was 20 years old.
What kind of car do you drive?
A Batmobile. We have it's funny. It really looks like a Batmobile. It's a limousine, and but it's not the big long limousine. It's a special custom size, just a little longer than a regular car, but it's got video and everything in the back for my little girl to watch her shows and stuff like that.
And also, did you ever smoke marijuana?
No, never took drugs, never drank. And I have no interest in that, and I don't know, I'm into health, and I just believe that our lives are so short and so fragile as it is that I don't want to take anything that could, affect me in a negative way.
So if you were Robin today in today's world, you wouldn't be having so much sex.
Oh, no, I save all my vices for one area, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think anything changed there, except for the fact that in today's world, yes, you have to be far more careful.
Have you ever used a condom?
No.
No. Oh.
Burt, I'm 19 and I'm wishing I was in TV right now. And not radio, because it's not getting me anywhere.
It's Batman, Burt Ward, who played Robin, and the book that's out, Boy Wonder, My Life in Tights. Any more questions? We got to get along here. We got to go.
I'll be seeing you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, you're absolutely welcome. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
We've got a lovely place here, and, you can horseback ride, do whatever you want.
There you go, Stretch.
Giddy up. Count me in. I'm there.
I'll be around there in December.
Burt,
That's fine.
Okay.
We're always here.
And I'll be
We'll
out
keep
for
the
the
light
Rose
on.
Bowl.
You'd like bubbles.
Yeah. Burt, it was great talking to you. You're a big hero of mine. I love the Batman shows. It was something I watched in junior high and talked to my friends about. It was nice talking to you.
Well, thank you. You guys are great hosts, and I had a great time. And all I can say is, to the Batmobile!
Burt. Thanks, Burt. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Man.
I think all that sex affected his brain.
He's got syphilis because it's whacking on his brain there.
It's all about money.
That's heavy duty. We
All
need
about
to...
money. Well, doesn't sound like he needs money. He married for that.
I bet he's going to masturbate right now.
We need to take a break. We'll come right back.